My name is Dana Johnston. I'm the CEO for InStride Therapy, and I want to welcome you today to our dedication of our Sensory Arena and also our dedication of Sawyer's Corner. But just by way of background, traditionally we are known for providing a particular program, and that's hippotherapy. And if you know anything about equine-assisted therapies, that's probably one of the therapies that's better recognized or most recognized. Therapeutic riding or adaptive riding would be another activity that is probably most notably tied to equine-assisted therapies. But hippotherapy is a therapeutic experience that may be traditionally delivered in a clinical environment. So if any of you have had any exposure to occupational therapists or a physical therapist or a speech therapist, you may have shown up in an office setting to receive that therapy. But we take that kind of office setting environment and we translate that therapeutic experience to horseback. And we do that for a couple of reasons. And some of it bears itself out in years of research. And what we've learned is that horses have more than just a therapeutic benefit. They are very nurturing. And we have three core tenets that we kind of abide by here as it relates to the benefits of horses to everything we do. And those three core tenets are kind of on the board behind you there. But we speak of horses as teachers, horses as healers, and horses as partners. So everything we do from a programming and services perspective embodies one or more of those core tenets. So when you think of hippotherapy, our horses are really embodying the role of healer, but also a partner to our rider. So when you see the demonstration, you'll also see a traditional kind of experience from a hippotherapy perspective as it relates to a therapist-led session with a rider, with a horse lead, and with two sidewalkers. And sidewalkers are there. If you think of gymnastics and spotters, they're there for safety purposes. So hippotherapy is probably what we are best known for as an organization. But a couple of things that we're doing now that expands upon that entire experience. We are doing a lot more in the area of therapeutic riding. And that came about really through discussions that we had with some of our families who had their children involved in our hippotherapy program. And we would periodically be asked the question, you know, if my child meets his or her treatment goals, then what's next? And we really didn't have a great answer for that other than to keep riding. Well, we want to give them that keep riding experience, and we would like to do that here at InStride. So what we've been able to do is work with our therapists and with our barn staff and our program staff to design a therapeutic riding program that now can be an extension of hippotherapy. So for one of our clients who achieves their treatment goals or reaches a point where their treatment goals have been achieved, they can be dismissed from that program and then can move into a therapeutic riding program. So they could continue to derive a benefit from the horse. Typically what happens is those riders have fallen in love with their horse. So we're also going to try to find a way to keep that connection. But we also really want them to continue to benefit from equine therapy. So you'll hear a lot more about that, and we're working very hard to get that program implemented. One area where it's already implemented, and it doesn't necessarily carry that name, but it essentially is the same activity, is we have, InStride has their own Special Olympics equestrian team. And so those riders essentially are involved in a therapeutic riding experience. And we're going to continue with that, but what we've decided to do this year, again, through conversations with some of the families, so Special Olympics, the equine part of the Special Olympics season starts in January and runs into April. So we've elected to back that up by 3 months. So we're going to create a riding experience for our Special Olympics riders starting in October, so they could get 6 months worth of riding in instead of 3 or 3.5 months. So we're going to start that in the fall. So we're very excited about that. We've also got ourselves involved in an area that is, I think is going to be, if I could say, a growth engine. It certainly is going to help us as an organization begin to grow. And that's a program that's called Equine Assisted Learning, or EAL. And we have two of our staff members who in February went off and got certified as equine specialists in mental health and learning. And there's two components to what's referred to as equine assisted learning. The first is equine facilitated psychotherapy, and that is a psychotherapist-led session that is traditionally, at least historically I should say, designed to address the needs of veterans or first responders or individuals diagnosed with PTSD. So the equine benefit associated with individuals who have been diagnosed with PTSD is well documented, and we're going to take full advantage of that here at InStride. So we're going to be introducing that program hopefully later this year. The other flavor of program associated with EAL is what's referred to as equine facilitated learning. And that is more of a curriculum-based or a lesson plan-based program. And we've had an opportunity to do that in a pilot mode with another agency in Sarasota, and they brought 6 of their clients on property, and we led that program with them. So we're expanding that program right now. If any of you are familiar with The Haven as an agency, we have a relationship with them where we deliver on property at The Haven an equine assisted learning model. We've got a round pen up there, we bring our horses up there, and we deliver it on property, and we're going to be doing that with some other agencies going forward. So we're very excited about that opportunity and about the opportunity to really bring programs and services to much needed populations in the counties that we service. The other area, which kind of ties into what you're about to see as it relates to our sensory riding arena, is we're also developing programs, and I won't necessarily refer to it as specialization, but we certainly are mindful of the growth of this population in our county. So if you track what's been written in the press lately as it relates to children and or adults that are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, so I think we are at a point where now it's 1 in every 52 children is going to be diagnosed in some way, shape, or form as something that has been defined by the spectrum. Now, the spectrum over time has grown, but nevertheless, that's a population that also is well documented in terms of benefits that are derived from equine therapy. So a lot more attention is going to be paid from an InStride perspective on that population, and also doing that in partnership with Easter Seals. And so we have some folks from Easter Seals that are with us today, but that's an area of need certainly, and it's an area where we can bring together some programs and services to address the needs of that population. So those are some of the things that we're involved with. We also have a bit of an educational bent, and we're going to continue to grow that. So we provide a program, it's called Literacy, where we actually bring special needs classrooms on a property, and we do a program, a 4-hour program with them, and we teach them about what it's like to live in a barn, what's our horse's life like in a barn, but we try to relate that back to them personally. So when we talk about things like, why do horses wear shoes and to protect their feet, and why do you wear shoes to protect their feet? Do you brush your teeth? Do you go to the dentist? Our horses have dentists, that kind of thing. So it just gets them kind of oriented around what it's like to be on a ranch and what our horses kind of experience. But more than that, it gets them thinking a little bit about the love of reading. And we do introduce a book through that process, and we are trying to, as much as possible, participate in some of the initiatives as it relates to age level reading. So we're going to do some more of that going forward. And some of what is on the perimeter of the property, some of these metal placards you see out there, by the way, were all painted for us by Ringling College of Art and Design. They come to us once a year. They'll be back August 25th. We got a bunch more projects for them to do, but they do great work for us. But a lot of these placards and some of the things you'll see on the perimeter of this arena, there are some books that are hanging on the hooks too. So if you have a chance to walk around, you'll see some of the educational material that we'll be using going forward as both part of our literacy program and also tied to some of the things we're doing here in the sensory arena.